And for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, God,
God,
indivisible,
this bill is
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for
justice for
all.
all.
Okay, Earl,
Okay,
I think you have the floor.
thank you very much. As you know, you all have received the info regarding Sununu's order. And now we're here now to discuss it in terms of how it specifically relates to our students and our staff in our school. In that Jen has done the grants and we've come forth with all of these funds. I'll have Jen start off the work that the administrative team has done in lieu of in lieu of where we are in terms of the state of the state, and then we'll have the administrative team go through the status of each of the schools and where they are in terms of the reopening plan as it relates to the order. Okay, Jen, you can start things off.
It's not plugged in.
Doesn't seem to pick anything up.
Can I just talk like this? They can hear me, right? That? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
I'll just stand here. We can hear through this.
Yeah, or this little one.
I'll just be awkward to talk. So we wrote the CARES Act, which was the first one that came out. We were able to rewrite that to get the items we needed for the K-2 opening. So tables that we needed, furniture, that type of thing, and some shelving. So we're able to do that. We then ended up getting the ESSER 2. And in that, we just made sure that we could kind of get everything that we needed and predicted some of the things that would take a little bit longer for ordering for the, 3 to 12 opening. But not everything, because we thought we had a little bit more time to kind of evaluate. So we were able to get the things that we knew we needed, tables, and a couple more furniture things for MES. The part we're at right now is that we ordered the tables, but they will not be delivered until April 15th. They will not leave the shipping place till April 15th. So we don't have enough tables for Newt at this point. And then the other things that were written in, we're still waiting for approval, but we wrote them in as soon as we could, basically. So the company to start the 2 custodials, that was approved, that contract was approved. But then not a moving company to see if somebody could help us move all the furniture from the basement into classrooms. And basically we tried to write in everything that we could need. So I can kind of go over table supplies. We were able to get supplies in for MES, so they're started to already order their supplies that they need. So that was already approved. But any additional furniture that we find that we need, that we kind of thought we had a little bit more time to figure out, we have not been able to order yet. And so we're just waiting for their approval at this time for that.
Under the CARES Act?
Under ESSER 2.
ESSER 2?
Yep. CARES Act was approved for all of the items that we had asked, and those were already ordered and delivered.
That was all for K-2?
That was all for K-2. Yep, and they got everything. Right, John, you had everything you needed to open K-2 on time.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for her?
How you doing?
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll start with John with MES, and we'll look at the concerns in terms of all staff, in terms of the instructional staff, paras, and then Bob's staff, the custodial staff. So John, did you want to kick things off for us with MES?
Yes, we do have some concerns. I think that I talked to the admin team today. Some of our concerns are, for the ordering. I will say that we are in the midst of planning. It's May 10th was our end date and our target date to get all this planned. Some of the concerns we have are the fact that our staff that are out on remote, they are coming back starting, well, one comes next week, but we have two starting that week, one on Monday, one on Wednesday of the week of the 19th. Also, our new Title I teacher is starting the week of the 19th. So that any planning with the new staff and the staff coming back, we've kind of lost that. So it's like hit the ground running on the 19th, because especially with some new staff that don't even know the protocols that we do day to day for the COVID, and some people don't even know the building with our brand new staff. And the other thing we have a concern of is that, many of us have gone through the COVID vaccine. Of course, we had the vaccine concern. We would like to be fully vaccinated and prepared, and protected from that COVID with that. But also the other concern we have is that there are some staff members who are getting the vaccine, but not going through our clinic. And some of them are getting it during that week of the 19th. I know one starts as early as Sunday, and one is, I think, Tuesday, one is Monday, and there's another on Wednesday. So we could have some staff concerns for attendance during that week of the 19th. The big staffing concern we have that really we were looking for to put into the waiver was the custodial. But I'll leave that for Bob to talk about.
John, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Those you're putting out, are they for May or April?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Those dates that you're talking about, are they May or April?
April, I'm sorry. Yes, they're for April. They're coming back the
Okay.
week of April 19th. That's why we would be all set and prepared by the 10th. It's kind of threw off our planning.
Okay, well, as far as staff not getting their quarantine shot, that, I'm sorry, is a load, because all they had to do is go online. They have a clinic, they have the drive-through this weekend allowed. To wait for staff to get their shots is ridiculous. Yes, they could have, they've been announced.
No, our kid could not
Wait
get
a minute, wait a
till
minute.
the 28th.
No.
No.
They were not, they
Wait a
were
minute.
online.
Let her speak and then raise your hand. I'll let
They
you
have been
speak.
going online and accepting appointments. I went on my line, and I'm not even one of the first, a teacher was able to get my appointment quickly. So I don't feel that is a valid excuse.
Well, I think it is.
I think it's just a misunderstanding. Our teachers got their first shot on March, I'm gonna get the day a little bit wrong, 6th, what was it? 26th, and their second shot is April 23rd. So, and that was the quickest they could get them. Our teachers weren't they weren't until phase 2A, and they didn't get a chance to sign up for those until last week. They already had their first shot by then.
But he
So-
just said he had staff that were going on their own and they're not getting them right away. That's what he just said.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was that staff that are getting the vaccine that didn't go through our clinic have received them earlier than we have. But their second dose is going to be, I guess I didn't say second dose, I'm sorry. Second dose is going to be on that Sunday, April 18th. One is Monday, April 19th. And then there's another one during the week. So the concern is based on staff attendance that week. However, I will say that the concerns that I've expressed, right, would not necessarily all fall under the waiver. And I want to make that clear. This is just a preparatory thing, and I want you to know what the status of the school is and where we are in our planning. For us, those concerns may not fall under the waiver. What would fall under the waiver is the staff concern on custodial.
Mary Ann Doan, did you want to say something?
Well, I just wanted to clear.
Please. Tammy, did you want to say something? Well,
The clinic was held in Farmington was open the day that the 2A was open to the state. So Susan Welch and Dawn Alley coordinated with Farmington. Their first available date to vaccinate for the first time for us was March 26th. That was the day after the governor opened 2A to the rest of the staff. Some staff went on immediately that day and booked their own appointment. So, but there's still the 2 weeks out. So we did it as soon as we could. And, you know, we can't, unfortunately, we have to work with what the state gave us, you know, in conjunction with Farmington.
Thank you. Tammy, do you have something?
Just saying they did it when they were supposed to.
And that's not what John said in the beginning.
Well,
Hey,
he,
Mr. Chair.
yeah, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair.
Yeah.
I understand this is difficult. We're in Zoom and this is something new for all of us. We've been given a short time to prepare, but what I would ask in the future, if there is a misunderstanding, that please ask a clarifying question rather than just basically tearing what I just said apart. I would appreciate that in the future.
Okay, anything else, anybody? We're moving on. You all done, John?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay, Earl?
Yes, in transition, Bob, would you talk about the custodial as we make the transition into the middle high school? Bob?
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, so we're working with APC Facility Services and have requested from them 2 custodians to work second shift, 1 in each of the buildings. The schedule was to add 1 at Newt on April 19th to start their training, and to back up what we wanted to do for opening on May 10th, then start the person at the elementary school on May 3rd, and then that would allow then a week of training. The reason for Newt being earlier is because, as you know, I've had 2 resignations, so I had to juggle staff around to cover that. So that's the only reason for Newt starting earlier. So at this point in time, I did get an update from ACP today, and they feel confident that they'll be able to support us to definitely have the 2 custodians on board by each of those 2 dates. And I'll repeat the dates: 1 for Newt on April 19th and 1 for the elementary school by May 3rd. So like I wanted to emphasize, and that gives us some time to get them up to speed, familiar with the building and our procedures.
So these are from the contracted services?
Yes, they are.
Okay, everybody get that? I know we might interpret some things wrong, but just give people a chance. Ask questions and give them a chance to explain. So even I get things wrong. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Well, if I could ask a question, please.
Go ahead.
Bob, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, any way that the second one could come in earlier? Or that any of them could come in earlier and?
That's always a possibility, but they don't have the people right now. They're actively looking at that. They're going to start interviewing next week. So they'll work their way through the candidates. So it is possible that if the people are available, it could start earlier, but you know, we don't have a crystal ball, so we can't really guess at that.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, Earl.
Okay, Bob, let's make the transition into Jan. Jan, can you specifically start with how the custodial staffing impacts you, and then go on to the instructional staff and the rest of the staff, and specifically explain how it affects how class loads are, as you had discussed with me.
So, as part of the custodial, so we're, right now we're down 1 custodian for second shift, and as of Friday the 16th, that will be the last day for another one on second shift. So we'll be down 2 custodial staff on the second shift. Our substitutes have been able to help out on Fridays with classroom sanitization. They clean all the shields in the classrooms one Friday, the next Friday they clean all the chairs, just because custodians just can't get to it. When we go fully back, the substitutes will be fully all day long working in classrooms. They won't have the availability on a Friday afternoon to help with the cleaning. So Bob's been great working with the agency, getting us at least we'll get one custodian on the 19th, so we'll be back to only being short one person. But we will still be short that one person. When we're fully back in, my substitutes cannot help with sanitization. So that's the big concern with custodians for returning on April 19th is I will have one brand new person not trained, and I'll still be short one, and my subs can't help. So that's the custodian piece. For staffing, we currently have 10 staff members out. I delineated in there, we have 5 teachers and 3 paras on ADA. We have one on maternity leave, and then our recent resignation. Hired 4.5 substitutes that are trying to cover those positions. Right now, we're able to juggle some around. You know, there might be a small class of 2 on a single day that we can combine with another class, that sort of thing. We're going to lose a lot of that flexibility once we go back every day, as we'll have all the students here. We won't be able to combine classes the way we're doing right now. When we made our proposal for May 10th, that was with the hope that we are going to get some of our remote teachers back in the school. The reason we chose May 10th is it's 2 weeks after their second vaccine, and they need that for their doctors to clear them to come back into the building. So that's the big hope. We already know of 4 that we anticipate will be back. But again, their doctors aren't clearing them back until 2 weeks after their second vaccine, which will be Friday, April 23rd. So if we go back full prior to that, I don't have, again, the staff to cover the classes, and I don't now have the space to start doubling up classes like we're doing. So we are requesting the waiver for the 10th, because that'll allow us, one, to have an additional custodian in the building and get some staff back into the building and adequately cover the classes.
When you say the 10th, you mean May 10th?
May 10th, yes.
Does everybody understand? Go ahead, Emily, sorry.
Jen, are the teachers that are out on ADA, are they able to teach remotely?
Yes, they've been teaching remotely the whole time,
Okay, and
but we have to have somebody in the classroom with those students. But yes, all of the teachers that are out on ADA have been working remotely full time.
I'm sure you've probably thought of this, but like, let's say it's like 2 kids that are doing remotely, could they not be in another classroom with headphones on so that?
So we've been doubling up classes. So with the remote teachers, we've been doubling them up, and they all have headphones on. So one is, you know,
Yeah.
logging on with this teacher, and one is logging on with that teacher, and we're able to do that right now because rooms are small. Classes are small, but again, once we're fully back, now I don't have the spacing that I can start doubling classes.
We can't and maintain 3 feet, or we can't?
I don't have the seating, even with putting additional desks in. So, and I mean, we could use the CAF for some periods, but this isn't very conducive to learning, as we found out on our remote Fridays when we had the kids coming in. Sitting in these chairs for a long time is not, I know I don't like it.
Jan, how many people do you have on remote now, teachers and staff?
I have a total of 8 on remote, 1 on maternity leave, and 1 open position.
Okay. 'Cause under the new guidelines from the governor, parents can still request remote.
Correct, I have about 18% of the school is still requesting remote.
18%. What about, John, what do you have for remote? A percentage?
It's gone down. We're about 10% or now, probably. It's can change when we come back. There are some kids coming back and they're still undecided, but I think it's between 10 and 15%.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, John, or you have more, Jan? I'm sorry.
No.
Anybody else? So we have, let's see, how many students we got at MES? About 250?
We have 230 at presently.
Okay, all right. 230?
Yes.
So that's going to be, for MES, that'll be what, 34 students? It's going to be remote?
Well, no, I think it'll be less than that. About
I get 15%.
10. It's about 15, 16. So I think it's more like closer to 10%. So
Between 24 and 34.
Yeah, and there are some homeschooled students also that we have been working with, that we have given the option for our remote teachers, like Melissa Salinger has worked with some of them, and they sometimes join us. And also the kindergarten classroom teachers, they work with, because attendance is non-compulsory in kindergarten, and we just didn't feel that they could do kindergarten remotely. So what they've been doing is parents have chose to homeschool, but we work with them and provide curriculum and supports to the homeschool parent so that they can, when the kids come in the first grade, they're prepared, more prepared.
So the job for MES would be much easier by doing remote. We're gonna have our difficulty in the middle and the high school because of the variety of the curriculum. So,
Was
do we have
that a question?
230
I'm sorry.
kids? No, I'm sorry, John.
Oh,
How much? 256? So, probably about 40, maybe? About 40 students will be on remote? That's gonna be more difficult to do because of 47? It's gonna be, okay, students, okay. I want everybody to understand that. Go ahead.
I have a question for actually both of you, because those people are keeping their children home remotely while the schools are in hybrid. Do you think it's gonna increase if we go full in? I mean, just a thought?
I really think it's going to depend. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
That's for the new survey. If we go back full, and we have had some parents, with Q4 starting on Monday who are bringing their kids back, into school now, even though they've been remote. We've had some that have gone back and forth, but we do have, some coming in. So actually that's fewer than our remote right now.
Okay, thank you.
John, did you have something?
Well, yeah, I was just going to respond. I think that, first, I thought we would get more students back in, but I think it's going to level off. I'm not sure. There are some students that can't come back in. And I think it's going to depend on the surge and how much, with the rates of COVID or what's in the headlines, parents may make that decision then, once we decide the date. So it always moves.
Okay.
Thank you, John and Jan.
Anybody else?
And John?
Earl?
I guess, as we reach toward the end of when the board needs to make a decision, I guess, John, what date, if there was a waiver, if the board decided to go that direction, what date would you need? What date would MES need?
I think we have to be all prepared, and if one of us isn't, then none of us are. So I think if we're going to look at one date, I would defer to Jan because to pick a date. But if you want to know just a MES in isolation, I guess if we're looking at the vaccine, our goal was the May 10th. But if you're looking at what will qualify for the waiver, I think May 3rd, when we get the custodian, that would make a difference, because that's the staffing shortage we have right now, the custodian. If we had more custodial support and with people coming back in, if it wasn't such a crazy week with attendance, we probably could start on the 19th. But I think there are other factors that are involved that's going to make it rocky. So I would defer to the high school.
Jan, so May 10th is the date that you see, correct?
Yes, I need May 10th for staffing. I won't have staffing to cover the classes until I get the staff back, when we're full back. Right now, because of the alternate dates for our classes, we have some flexibility. Once everybody's back, I lose that flexibility. I need my staff back.
Thank you both. Thank you all. Thanks,
Emily?
Bob.
I'm just curious, has everyone that needs to talk about the waiver talked about the waiver? I was kind of trying to wait for the end does Claude need to speak, like, before,
Yes.
before you know what I'm saying? I want to get through everybody.
Yeah, Rob?
Yes.
You know how we do an admin report and all the administrative team reports? I'm wanting to know if we're done or if we're still waiting for people before I.
Rob Paul.
Okay, so then I'll wait for Rob.
Special education's in pretty decent shape to open up. If we were forced to open up on the 19th, I'm pretty sure we could string it all together. The staffing concerns at Newt especially would obviously trickle down if we had to pull pairs just to cover classes. That would necessarily impact IEP services. I also, if every kid came back who required services and we weren't able to get everyone we're expecting by the 10th back from ADA, then that would also have an impact. But generally speaking, I think we can make it work. Just from a special ed standpoint.
Is that it?
Unless you have questions.
Anybody else, Earl?
I think John and Jan could give you an update regarding transportation. Tim had a conflict tonight. Bob, John, do you want to speak about what you've done with MES in terms of the transportation?
I don't have it in front of me, but I got it memorized pretty much. I broke the buses down into the 4 buses. And what I went through is I put the list of the kids that need to ride the bus, and I highlighted all the brothers and sisters who could sit together. So I counted them as one student. So if I had 35 kids on a bus, if I had, pairs of siblings I might need, then they could sit together. So I counted that as one seat. So I might have 30 kids on a bus, but only need 25 seats. So that's how I broke it down. And our numbers are pretty good. 2 of the buses one is 25 and one is, I think, 21. 2 of them, one is 30 and one is 29 and one is 30. And the other buses are lower than that. 2 would be in compliance, 2 wouldn't.
Jen, I just got a text that the meeting's not online I don't know, I'm just letting you know.
For me, I have 135 students who need to take the bus that averages 33 to 34 per bus. I don't have the breakdown yet from Tim. He's hoping to get that to me tomorrow so we can call and find out from parents. If these kids are on the bus, who would you like your child to sit with? So it'll be more than the 26, but I think between, pods of friends and things and siblings, I think we'll be able to pair people up in the. We're already on it. It's not online. There's already people on it.
How many?
I don't know, I'm just saying, I just got a text message.
How many?
Or is it not on Facebook? Yeah, I posted it on the school district and I posted it on all the.
Is that everybody that's on? It's gotta be working, because how did these other people get on?
It's gotta be.
We're on through Zoom.
Okay.
Is it a Zoom, right?
Excuse me, I just got a message. It's working fine for one person.
So maybe there's 16 people on, that's what I'm wondering. I'm telling you to check the, school beginning page. It was from Les Elder, so I'm usually good about getting on.
Well, they're on, I can't understand why Les can't get on. Doesn't. Okay,
Norman's on time.
yeah, okay. Earl, do you have anything else?
Yeah,
Or Janet?
I think that we had all the departments. Now, if there's any questions that individual board people have or collectively, we can go through that.
Emily?
Okay. So, I'm just gonna speak specifically to the waiver, because that's really, at this point, that's what we're dealing with, is whether or not we move forward with the waiver. And between what I've heard tonight, read and learned about the governor's orders, it seems to me that MES and NEWT are really separate issues, and they should be voted on separately, whether or not we should move forward with a waiver for MES versus for Newt. That's where I'm at.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we get a waiver for MES for May 3rd.
May 3rd or April, I mean,
May 3rd for MES, as per John's request.
okay. I will second that.
Do I have any discussion?
Did I request that? I'm sorry.
You asked for May 3rd, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, no,
and there's-
no, I said it was based on the needs of everybody else. I mean, when I'm looking at regular ed staffing, and as Qua said, special ed staffing, we're good. It's the custodial staffing, it'll be the cleaning after. So I don't know what the trickle down effect would be with that. So, but I mean, May 3rd, we could do, but I think that would, because that was the date, Bob, you said we would get the other custodians?
From what I see but what I'm seeing and reading, I don't think that the custodian is enough of a reason to apply for a waiver for a fee. Right.
Well, as an admin team, we didn't talk about it as separate. So, I mean, we really haven't discussed that, but whatever the board wants to do. Our plan is in motion. We don't have, the other thing was the shields. We don't have all the shields in, but, you know, we didn't talk about it as an admin team, so I don't really know how to respond to it. We were looking at it as districts. So I'll refer to Mr. Sussman to look at what he would prefer if we do it district-wide or we do it by school, because he has to manage it. So, Mr. Sussman?
I think it all depends on when each of you can do it on behalf of your staff, your students and staff. Bob, when can you serve each of the schools? Bob? Adams?
Yeah, what was the question? When what?
When can you serve MES and when can you serve Newt? Emily, one of the board members, asked the question, are you looking at the custodial on a district-wide basis, or are you looking at it at a building basis? So the question is, when would your capacity be to service in a safe environment MES?
It would be May 3rd.
Yeah, with all due respect, that actually wasn't my question. I stated that I think we need to vote separately on MES and Newt, and that I didn't believe that the lack of a custodian for a week would justify a waiver, given them what I've seen and read. So the motion on the floor is that we vote yes, yay or nay for MES going back May 3rd. And I was just stating for this point of discussion that the way that I understand it, that need isn't enough for a waiver.
And I understand what you're saying, Emily. I mean, that was on my presentation. I said that these were the concerns and these were where we're at, with the transition and so forth. I didn't think they would fall under the waiver at all either. Our concerns.
Yeah.
And if it would be stronger for, and we didn't discuss this, if it's stronger for Newt, because I believe that Newt really needs needs that extra week. If it works to separate it, to make it, I'm fine with that.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I have a question, if anybody can possibly hear me. Even if we say for MES it's 5-3, we still need a waiver to get to 5-3 because the directive is 4-19. So,
Yeah, that was my point. What I was saying is separating them like that and saying May 3rd, I still don't think it's going to be worth, so I'm kind of giving a hint at what my vote would be, isn't going to be enough for a waiver.
yeah.
No, but I think if we're looking at it by district wide, I'm not sure. I think I asked that clarification. I think it has to be, Mr. Sussman, do you know if it's district wide by the waiver? I mean, I'm not sure. I wasn't at the superintendent meeting, so I don't know.
I think what we would do, again, that's a good question on all of your parts. But I think that they're looking at what our district reopening plans. So if if we put in a waiver and said, for example, the Milton School District, for the reason of staffing, or as we've stated, we're looking at the reopening plan, although our current reopening plan is stating that MES and Newton Middle High School are returning on May 10th. We, in they're saying the 19th, we are looking for a waiver for MES within the district to come back on May 3rd and Newton Middle High School. In Newton Middle High School for the 10th. So I think I'm answering the question of, can we delineate a different?
He's not answering the question.
Can we vote on the motion that's on the floor? I mean, whether or not that,
Are we ready?
yeah,
I said the discussion's done, yes. I just have one point.
but I mean, I think the discussion is going all over the place.
So the two parties
I
say
think the
nothing.
problem is it could affect Newt. It's
John,
either gonna affect
John,
Newt or MES.
John.
That's my concern. Sorry, go ahead.
John,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Ken,
I think we can do separate dates. I understand your concern, what they're looking for in a waiver, but they talk specifically about health and safety of staff and students, and I think being down a custodian, not being able to adequately sanitize the building would impact health and safety.
go ahead. Now I'm gonna move the question after Mary Ann Doan.
I also would like to state that you're allowing half of the staff to stay out unvaccinated or fully vaccinated, while the other half have, the week potentially asking a waiver for the high school, where there will be fully vaccinated and covered, and the elementary school will not be. So I just want to make that clear, that half of the staff will be potentially, I'm not saying it is a definite, but potentially put at risk, and the other half won't.
I addressed that. From what I understand, the ability to be vaccinated is not a consideration in the waiver.
We all set?
That can't be a consideration in the waiver.
Motion,
The
please.
motion is that we have MES. We've applied for a waiver for MES to open on May 3rd. You all set? Well, I'm gonna say yes. Peg?
No. No.
No, no.
Okay, do we have another motion?
I will make a motion that we send the district waiver in, starting on May 10th, as we have already approved this board.
I'll second it. Do I have any discussion? Okay, I move the question. I vote yes.
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 No.
So that was for both schools?
Yes.
You said,
No, I thought it was for new. I thought we separated the,
oh, she
I
did?
put it back as district.
oh, then no.
Okay,
I thought we were separating it.
no, it didn't pass then. You want to change it?
I'll make a motion to vote for Newt to do a waiver to go back May 10th.
I'll second that.
Do I have any discussion?
I think, no.
I'm clear now.
This is all new, there's nothing black and white as far as Governor Sununu's, statement. So I don't see why we could not ask for the separation of the two schools. It's more likely to get a waiver for half of our district as opposed to the entire district. Because there's nothing steadfast that says we have to apply to the entire system. So I just think that by separating it, Newt has a better chance of getting the waiver. There's nothing in black and white.
So we all set the vote on that motion in second?
I am.
Peg?
Aye.
Aye. Abigail?
Yes.
Yeah.
Emily?
Yeah.
So we done it for May 10th for Newton Middle School, to get a waiver.
To apply, yeah.
Yep, to apply for it.
I said there's nothing black and white in your orders. No, I said no. I said
Yes.
yes.
5-0. Now, anybody got a motion for MES? We're gonna leave it at the 19th? That what we're gonna do?
I mean, do we need to make a, are you asking
Oh,
for?
Mr. Sussman, what would- what's that?
Well, that's, I mean, that's already what the order is, but do we?
Okay. I guess,
Okay.
Earl,
Do you
I
want to
guess
vote
MES
on, Doug, do you want to vote on your original the original part about MES going on May 3rd?
that already didn't, that didn't pass.
That already didn't pass. I was just waiting to see if there was another one that you guys were gonna.
They're not gonna make a motion for MES.
Okay.
MES is gonna open up on April 19th. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Well, technically, we're just not applying for a waiver for. Right, right, that's what the order already is, we're just not asking for a waiver for it.
Okay, guess that's settled.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, all set, Earl?
Well, that's the direction that the board has.
Yeah,
Is
okay.
that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to make one final comment. We're dividing the staff because of the decision of not looking at it as a whole district. We are one district, we are one staff. So now you're putting potentially some of us at risk and some not. And it doesn't matter whether Sununu has said, and Governor Chan, or not Governor Chan, I wish he was, but, you know, nothing has changed. You voted in August that the health and safety of the students and staff was important. Now, you're going to put half of us in, half of us out. So, it just seems like you're dividing the staff. And we need to be together as one district. So I really strongly oppose what was done. And as the union president, I want to state that it will divide the two groups. Because I think we've all worked really hard to get this plan to work. And we've worked a lot of the time together. And there's been a lot of discussion on whether we come back or not, and we follow the plan that was passed in August. That plan really hasn't changed all that much. Okay, I'd like to say something. First of all, we have discussed on multiple occasions, MES going back first, that it was more feasible. This is something we've had multiple discussions on. And the implication that we are dividing the staff is
Please, no.
not acceptable. Our concern is our children. Our children need to be back in school. The health and safety and the mental health of our students are what's paramount. And as a parent of two children who have been staying home and are not getting properly educated, any way that we can get into the school is important.
We don't need to escalate like that.
I just don't appreciate being told that we're trying to separate when all we're trying to do is get our students back in school.
Thank you. I guess that's it. Moving on. Okay, I need a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Do I have a second? I'll second it.
I'll be happy to. Oh, wait, one question before that. Any word on the scoreboard?
That can't be discussed tonight. It's not on the agenda.
All right, but I want to make sure that it's on the agenda because the scoreboard in softball season is starting. There's no reason it shouldn't be on the agenda for every week until it's
I
up.
think it was gonna be on the 14th agenda, because that's what we
We
had.
can't,
I just want to make sure it is because
It is.
it's starting.
okay, we can't discuss that. It's not on the agenda. But it's on there. Okay, Peg?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
That'll be under 91A, 32A, B, and C. So we're non-public. A motion to seal these
I'll
non-public.
make a motion to seal these
Second.
for a year.
Got Emily?
Yes.
Emily?
Me.
For a year?
Yes. I didn't want to know how I gave up. But I wasn't looking.
I know you.
Okay, Peg?
Aye.
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 Seal for you. Now I need one to adjourn.
I have a motion. Take
All right, ladies.
it.
Egg?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, ladies. Have